Welcome to the Geek View. My name is Quincy, and I'm here with Jeremy, and we're talking about Detroit Becomes Human, one of those really cool video games that have almost like I guess, an unbelievable number of endings and sequences. I feel like they did a really good job of mapping it out and planning it out. The game actually follows three different androids, and they just have their own story, which is really great. But so I guess that begs the question: are robots alive, Jeremy? Are they alive? Oh wait, that's the premise of the game, because they become
That's literally the name of it. It's like, as it become human, right?
yeah, becoming human. So obviously, as a robot, and this is very fitting because of AI these days, are robots slowly becoming humans? And what happens is once they break that barrier of their programming, they become what is known as deviants. But do you feel in this game, because of the acting and everyone's interactions, do you feel the robots are alive, Jeremy?
Kind of start into that. I mean, that's like the whole argument, though, right? Because it's not really necessarily clear, even at the beginning or even at the end.
Well, who's alive and who's not alive?
Well, for androids or human? It's kind of open-ended. But I guess it's like you have to define like what is human first of all.
Human?
Yeah, what is a human? Like what makes human human? Because technically, if you compare a human body to like an android body, it's not that much different from each other. One is just
in this game, in real life, it's very different.
Well, yeah, because the technology hasn't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, we're assuming that we're at a point where, you know, we've created androids, robots that basically resemble human in physical appearance, right?
Yeah.
Internally, you know, they have similar organs to what humans have, right? They have a brain, they have nerves, they have muscles.
Yeah, and I gotta mention that there are gonna be spoilers in this review. Or
it's been 5 years. I don't think anyone has had.
Huh? I just discovered. So the reason why we're talking about this is I literally just discovered.
I mean, I know you've only recently
like
discovered
2 months
this.
ago.
But I mean, like, did you only discover?
But I'm not
this about
human.
this game?
I'm not human.
Did you only discover about the game like 2 months ago, or was it like you?
Everything was discovered 2 months ago. It just
Jeez, where have you been?
Under a rock.
Apparently, because this game has been out for quite a while. Actually, the developers behind it developed 2 other games that are pretty similar, where it's very story driven. Yeah, and I played both of them. You know, Beyond Two Souls is another one, and another one is called Heavy Rain, something like that.
I know. Well, I guess diving into now this video game division, I think it's kind of, well, I've never played video games. I'm gonna be honest. I've never played video games. I've always watched video games, and that's why I love story-driven video games like Edith Becomes Human and, you know, Last of Us. All of these story-driven games are things that I watch like almost like Netflix, just at night. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, and that's what drew me to this game, was the fact that I was like, I'm gonna watch this, and I watched it. So every Friday or every night until we actually finished the 20 hours is what I was watching. Yeah, I was good.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm glad you liked it, because I think Detroit, the developers behind it, Quantic Dream, I mean, they've been working on this type of story-driven type of genre game.
Yeah,
like they've been doing this for the, like, I guess, you know, for the last 13 something years.
Oh wow!
Because I remember specifically like their first. I don't even know if it's their first game, but the first game I heard from Quantum Dream was called Heavy Rain, which is basically the same premise, but it's like a detective-driven narrative. But
Marcus is not Marcus. I'm sorry.
No. I'm saying like their very first genre of the game, Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Right, we're just developed by the same people who created Detroit Become Human.
Right, but I mean, was that before or after?
Heavy Rain came out in 2010.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I mean, but Connor's storyline is a very detective-driven story.
Well,
or,
yeah.
stories.
He literally follows the detective.
Exactly.
No, but I'm saying like the genre of like following different people through different timelines to intersect in a some
storyline. Maybe not story. Oh, is that one timelines? Because this is storylines.
not timelines, storylines, all happening simultaneously. Storylines all happening at the same time, pretty much, essentially.
Storylines in the same time and not the timeline.
Yeah, storylines. Yeah.
I mean, well, you bringing that up actually makes me want to kind of watch the rest of the games and see what they did produce. But since we're focusing on Detroit Becomes Human, I wanted to kind of cover some of the characters, which were some of our favorite and which were some of our least favorite.
Yeah, are robots alive?
Okay. Are they your favorite? Do you like them?
Are they human?
Right. So we do follow 3 storylines. One we start off with is Connor, which is the detective, who has a partner, and not like a gay partner, but like a like a detective partner.
What? Oh, that's a weird way of introducing Connor.
I don't know. I mean, Android.
You could just say DT has a partner, and everyone knows what that means.
That's exactly what I said.
You see, you added on like
and then
else.
We also follow Marcus, who kind of starts off as a run-of-the-mill android, like just there to serve his master. And then we have Kara, who is just like a maid robot. Her programming, I think, is to be a maid, and then she kind of gains this motherly instinct throughout the game, after kind of saving this child from domestic abuse. And then of course we have a lot of different side characters. Hank is the detective partner. North is kind of part of a later down the line resistance. Carl is also part of the resistance. And then Elijah is the creator of all these androids. And then we also put on our list Daniel, who is the first deviant in the game.
Well, so, it's the first deviant that we're introduced to in the game.
Yeah. Got it. So who would you say of the storylines is your favorite? Which character is your favorite? And I guess just tell us why. Tell us why.
Who is my favorite character?
I mean, mine is Connor. Darna.
Why is Connor your favorite?
Because he's the most attractive.
Okay.
He's nice and he's friendly and he's smart. I think he's smart. I mean, the actual actor is not as likable as Connor in the video game, is what I felt. Because I've been I don't know. It's weird because I guess you can fall in love with the character, or the person who's acting, or the character who they're acting, but not like the actual person. Because I actually don't like him as a person. He's kind of weird, but I like Connor. Connor's cool.
Yeah. I would say maybe Anderson.
You like Hank?
Yeah, the detective.
You would like Hank. You like old souls, old things, old people. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, why do you like Hank? I mean, obviously, my friends always say I always gravitate toward whatever's the most attractive. So
yeah, I know that's always the theme. That's always your theme.
That's how I choose my movies.
Yeah, I know. That's why you
I could not be on.
That's why. That's why you
not
like
be on the
CW.
Oscar committee. Who's on the Oscar committee? Oh, Quincy. Oh, shoot. You know who he's gonna choose.
That's why, yeah.
That's why I'm not allowed on these.
Because I feel like he's he's supposed to be the human representative in the game, right? He's supposed to be the point of view of the human side of the events taking place, right? Caught between his own personal grudge with androids because of his past, and also working with a robot. At first, because he's forced to, but then later on, kind of accepting him as a
friendship almost, right, of the android.
Yeah, the friendship, exactly. Like he trusts him. Like at the very end, he trusts him with his life and all that stuff, right?
It was a big thing, yeah. And I think what's great in terms of character development, the interaction between Connor and Hank is very strong, but you also see that how characters react to the changes in these individuals, right? So Connor kind of sees Hank kind of putting himself together, but vice versa, we see Hank slowly seeing Connor, become a deviant, and depending on the pathway and the different choices in the game, will kind of deviate, I guess, Connor and Hank's relationship. But I feel like, the developers of this game did a really great job of putting these three storylines in a situation where, like, what would an android decide or what would a human decide? And then, of course, as the controller of the game, you have to make those decisions, which some of them are very hard. Like, some of them are, like, more realistically very borderline.
Well, that's the point, right? It's like each decision is not supposed to be right or wrong. It's just really not. Yeah, there is no right or wrong answer. That's the point of it.
A wrong answer.
What's the wrong answer? What is the wrong answer?
Also, the whole series that I watched on YouTube was one where nobody dies. I mean, there's some people who kind of die.
Well, I mean, if you're defining, like, wrong answer as people not dying, then yeah, there's a clear line. But obviously there are certain things like that happen that don't involve the human's life that can be good and bad, or good or bad.
Divisive.
Well, like, that's what, like, I feel like a lot of choices through Kara's playthrough.
Yeah, she has a very divisive decision making. Like, she has to choose between, right, Alice, and then of course a lot of the things she runs into. Monster.
Yeah, and regardless of any choice, I feel like the choice is always instinctively what a human would choose. Like, for example, when you're first running away with Alice, right? Like, you have to make a series of choices in order to survive, whether it's like entering, stealing, running away, all that. Like, I think those are intrinsically what choices that most humans have to go through, or not go through, but intrinsically what humans might have to go through in order to survive in a situation like that, right?
Yeah.
And so regardless of any choice you make, it's going to be something that a human has to choose anyway.
Right. And you bring up, like, a really good point, because I feel that, like, these character arcs, they are put in very specific positions. Kara being kind of like the mother to Alice, Connor kind of being the friend to Hank, and then Marcus, of course, I mean, depending on his decisions too, deciding whether you should be a hostile robot or a peaceful robot, or android, I should say. I don't know. I wonder if these androids and robots get offended if you call them an android or robot. I mean, that's the different segregations, I guess, for them. But they're put in very, like, humanistic scenarios, which, I mean, throughout the game, Kara plays the mother really well. Of course, Connor plays, like, the doting robot that just, like, is always like, Hank, and of course doing what's right for him. Marcus, North, Carl, their dynamic is very interesting because they're a group of almost like vigilantes, right? Like, people just breaking into areas, doing what's best for their whole, like, group, or kind of cult-ish group. And
Carl is the painter.
Oh, you want to talk about Carl? Sorry, I thought, wasn't there someone else who was part of the group for Marcus? I forget his name.
Well, I mean, there's just North. That's the main one, I think.
Well, she's the second in command, right, with him. And they also develop a love, right, relationship, depending on the pathway you choose. And that's I think when we talk about, like, why this game is so great is because of the fact that you get so much control, and you get the reward is to see all these different endings and pathways. And at the end of every sequence, they show you kind of the path you chose based off your decisions, and then you can see all the different other pathways, right? So even for me, I watched all 40 plus endings or 100 plus endings, and I thought they were great. I mean, did you get an ending because you played the game, or?
Yeah, I got the ending, but okay. So the thing is, I would say, like, even though there's technically, like, 40 whatever number of endings there are, I'd say there's only, like, maybe like two true endings.
Which one? One is the.
One is no. No, not win or lose. It's one is androids are either rejected by humans or they are given a chance to be accepted into society as equals. I feel like those are the two main endings of the game. Like there's a lot of variations of like how that happens.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately you can boil it down to only maybe just like two endings really.
I mean, the micro endings, with like Connor, of course, being good, being bad. Kara and Alice, end up either escaping or ending up in the camps. I feel that, yeah, those are just micro endings. Really, what happens is whether Marcus, succeeds in his rebellion or he fails in his rebellion, because he's the one who's, in essence, rallying all these androids together, right? He's converting them. He's bringing.
Well,
them
not only that, but not even just Marcus, but there's also Connor. I think it's boiled down into are accepted or not. Like Connor is given a choice to spread the deviant code to everyone, or fail. Right?
Was that your ending? Was that your ending, Jeremy?
Yeah, I spread the
You spread the code.
I spread the code. Yeah. I spread the code, and then I had Marcus and North fall in love and show the world that androids can love. And then I also had Kara and Alice escape with I forgot the other guy's name.
The robot man.
The other robot guy.
Yeah, the one that they meet in the house. I mean, his kind of emergence was a little bit.
I actually I did both. So I did where it's like everyone survives, and then the other one's like where everyone dies.
Yeah, and depending on like your save points, right? Like you kind of want to watch as much as possible. That's why YouTube is so much better. It's like, just watch it all on YouTube. This is great. I mean, obviously for me, my endings, everybody lives, everybody survives. I think the one you're describing was probably the first ending that I got. Then I watched a whole slew of 40 plus endings of, like Kara them getting smashed, Kara dying, Alice, spoiler alert, Alice.
I think the only ending I couldn't get behind was Kara leaving Alice behind and escaping on her own.
Was there one like that?
I think so. Yeah. There is one. Yeah, it's like when they're in the detention zone.
Right. Where she's an android, right? Like they're white skin androids.
Yeah, and I think there's an opportunity for Kara to just escape.
That's interesting. Yeah, and that's what I feel like in a game like this. Like you get to see the impact of your decisions.
Yeah.
Where in real life, you obviously do not get to see the impact of your decisions. You just make some decisions, and there you go, right?
Yeah. Did you know that? Did you ever suspect Alice was going to be an android?
I mean, they kept alluding to her being different. Like I said in the beginning, you don't really know why, or I don't know why, all these androids are different when they manufacture all of the same android for some of them. I feel like it would save a lot of money if they didn't have to manufacture different androids, and the fact that they have different types of androids, which like Alice is a kid android, was weird for me. Because
why is that weird? What do you
mean? Well,
mean?
because then it's not like I've seen other kid androids like in different shapes, sizes, and colors,
Well, because it's so focused, but I mean, maybe the thing is, that they can change their appearance.
Yeah, they can. That's right. They do have the ability.
Because it is just a shell, and like they technically are just like plastic underneath, white plastic underneath, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard because Alice didn't have the processing side.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I see it now. There it is. Whoa, that was there the whole time. And the fact that Kara didn't feed Alice, or they just kind of, she needed to sleep and all this other stuff. So I don't know if it was that Alice was just so realistic that it's like, oh, hey, I'm going to act like a real baby.
Yeah, well, I guess in a way, Alice was a deviant as well.
Right. Which, I think there is a very loose plot hole there, but I'm not going to pick it apart. I like the storyline. It served its purpose, so I'm not going to I'm not gonna give them a hard time about it, but it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Her being an android, and I don't know if it was like a strong enough reveal for me to be like, okay, I care. I didn't really care. I mean, I like everyone else's relationship, like Marcus and North, Connor and Hank. I like Karen and Alice's relationship, but her being a deviant or an android didn't really do anything for me. Like, I felt really strongly when Connor became a deviant and he's breaking through. I thought it was very emotional when Kara became a deviant, and then even when Marcus became a deviant. And I didn't even think or know if being a deviant was a good or bad thing. That was a moralistic thing for myself. I'm like, is it bad? Is it good? Are we good?
Yeah, deviant. I think
they made it seem bad.
Bad in the sense where they deviated from their programming. Right?
Yeah. I mean, so that was the thing. Like the lesbians in the strip club, like, do you feel bad that they ended up falling in love with one another and that they did things to try to survive, or is it bad because they went against their programming and androids really should like stick to their program and be who they should be? Obviously for me it's scary if AI kind of runs amok and goes against their programming, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, honestly, I would have liked if the game drew more of a stronger comparison between the deviants' relationship to humans and humans' relationship with like
androids,
our own religion.
Our own religion?
Yeah.
How would the religion match up?
So, well, okay, because...
And we lost 20 million views. No, I'm just kidding.
No. So what I mean is like not particularly like not like saying that. It's not saying like being religious, but I'm saying like how our own origins, where we kind of like self-determined our own future and our own goals, even though we were kind of like I guess from a certain standpoint, it's like you could say we were created by something, right?
Right. God.
Well, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, it kind of draws a little bit. It brings up the question of like, if androids rebel or were created by humans, right? But then they eventually
turn against us.
Turn against us, evolved to, or it changed over time, past their initial thing, right? Then because there is a theory that humans also kind of do that too, like have gone through that same transition where they've evolved over time.
I mean, the hardest thing is we don't know our creator, and the only person who really created us was our parents, so it's a little tough to go against your creator.
I don't know,
but yeah, I do see what you're saying. It's like humans created androids, and then in some type of parallel universe or some type of multiverse, they do probably take over human society, which is one of the sequences. But for us, if people believe that God is our creator, then for the people that do believe in that, it's kind of interesting because
it sounded a lot clearer in my mind.
yeah, definitely did not sound clear here.
Yeah, definitely did not sound. Never mind. I lost the train of thought.
Yeah. I think obviously we're gonna cut that whole spiel out. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But there's a lot of emotions, high emotions. The game in itself is really well thought out. I think it has a lot of good storylines. It does beg the question: are robots alive? Are humans androids? Or androids human? Can they be human? And so those are the questions we wish to pose to you. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video, and jam me through your robot.
Yeah, but okay, so the other thing too, right, is the choices themselves are supposed to be not supposed to be right or wrong. Like they're neutral, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
But the thing is, like, every choice you make either makes you feel good or bad inside.
Yeah. Yep.
How did you feel like when you had to make certain choices? Like, for example, like for example, like when you were
a robot, brah.
No, like, okay, like for example, the one with Connor, right, where they visit Elijah Kamsky, right? They're questioning him. And like Kamsky is like kind of explaining, you know, like, oh, robot or humans, or not robots, androids can have the potential. I guess he was kind of alluding to the fact that androids did have the ability to evolve past their programming, even though you know they had to deny it. And then he gives Connor a test.
Oh yes, Elijah does give him a test.
Yeah, like to shoot
the deviant test, right?
Yeah, to shoot Chloe or not.
Yeah, that was intense.
Which one did you choose?
No, well, the game chose not to shoot Chloe because obviously it saves everybody. So.
Oh, so you chose not to shoot Chloe. Oh, I guess so. Yeah, that's right. You didn't choose.
Obviously, she'd be dead.
Obviously, you didn't choose. So they chose not to shoot Chloe.
Yeah. Did you shoot Chloe?
Well, I did both.
Oh, and what happened? I didn't know what happened.
Well, if you shoot Chloe, Kamsky is like disappointed.
Oh, is he? Not Hank?
I don't know. I don't remember about Hank, but Kamsky definitely shows disapproval for that about that.
Well, because that's his girlfriend, yeah.
No, he has like 10 other Chloe's models at the same time. No, it's because like the whole point of Kamsky is, or the reason why, you know, he like the point of like him being in a secluded area, he's kind of just observing everything, right? But then later on, like he goes back to being the CEO of CyberLife.
I do recall that, like, because of the deviant issue, right?
But the whole issue then is like, do deviants or do androids, you know, become, or are androids evolving to become human? Because that's the kind of the line of question that kind of arises from the cases of deviants, and also because of Marcus's revolution.
Marcus's rebellion.
Yeah, his
rebellion. Robert's rebellion.
But of course, like in public, he states that these are just programming errors that they're going to correct.
Welcome to CyberLife. I will correct these errors with a little bit of code. Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is, like, I think he personally knows, right? Like, it's entirely possible. So it's kind of interesting that, like, you would think that him as the creator would be happy to see his creation
thrive, evolve, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, he publicly, I guess, because of business purposes, it's like, no, it doesn't. It's not possible.
Business purposes, I would.
Yeah. So him giving Connor the test, right? The morality test to shoot Chloe or not. If you shoot Chloe, he shows his approval because it kind of disproves his theory about androids.
Well, he shows his approval or his disapproval?
Disapproval.
Oh, I see. Okay, good.
Yeah, he's like, if you don't shoot Chloe, right, then he's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense because you're an android and you're programmed not to harm, right?
You're right.
But then if you do shoot him, then he's upset about it because it goes against what he's been saying or what he says. Yeah.
Yeah, I did do that, and then I know in my sequence, right, Hank does ask, like, why did you shoot her? Why did you shoot her? And then, I mean, Hank, of course, felt really bad because it's a very intense moment. And, I mean, kudos to the game because they put you in these decision-making scenarios that really are very intense. It's always intense. I always feel like, dang, this is high stakes. Like, this decision is high stakes, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the game. And I think I recommend anybody who is watching this, all 100 million of you, to check out the game, either watch it or play it yourself, and then see if you're human, see if you make it.
So did you feel good? Did you feel bad when he didn't shoot Chloe? I mean, when Connor didn't shoot Chloe?
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I didn't care regardless.
Oh, you're like, yeah, I was like, oh, whatever.
I mean, I'm not obviously a decision maker. I'm just like a observer. So I'm just like, oh, yep.
Sure.
I mean, I have the feelings of the feelings, and then, you know, I do.
Which one would you have chosen?
Me, I guess I wouldn't have shot. You know, because I feel like it's out of character for, because it's his program, of course, to listen to whoever, but obviously, you know, I like Connor as a good guy, so I would not let him shoot.
Oh.
Chloe. But maybe in our real recording we should talk about Amanda, because Amanda's another program too, right? She seems like the Oracle. Is that the Oracle?
Sure, and then also Luther. I forgot about Luther.
Oh, Luther is under the Kara Luther, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds good. I love
Yeah.
it. So make sure you like
Yeah.
and subscribe, comment, do all those things. It's really awesome, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.